Hi, I'd like to invite you to join in a conversation with Bill Krumm, the director of photography for the film I Married the War. He's in conversation with our co director and producer, Betty Rogers. And he gives us like a little miniature primer on the principles of making a great documentary, as well as sharing his thoughts on why making this particular documentary was so important to him. So enjoy the conversation, and I'll see you after.
I am delighted to introduce Mr. Bill Krumm, our Director of Photography for I Married the War. Bill has enjoyed a stellar career in television and film for over 35 years, and he's won numerous Emmy Awards for his work. In 2015, he was inducted into the Silver Circle of the Northwest chapter of NATAS, which recognizes individuals in broadcast television with over 25 years of experience and who have made a significant contribution to the industry. I can tell you he's certainly made a significant contribution to this film. Bill's career has taken him from Helsinki to Auckland, from New York to La Paz. In 1988, he traveled to Wake Island to make a documentary titled Wake Island: Forgotten Heroes Remembered, about the civilians who defended that island against Japanese invaders during World War II. Bill currently works with our co-producers, Wide Eye Productions in Boise, Idaho. So Bill, you have a unique perspective of this film because you filmed the interviews, you heard the stories for the first time, you helped add to the artistic flavor of the film with your beautiful cinematography. So can you talk a little bit about how that experience was for you?
Betty, over the years, I've had the opportunity to work on a lot of different types of documentaries, but the ones that I find the most satisfying and rewarding always come back to, for me, three words, and that's honesty, authenticity, and heartfelt. And I kind of call it filmmaking without makeup. And that's the way this film is. This is a film in which what you see is honest, authentic, and heartfelt. And it was a pleasure for me to be a part of it.
So part of the process is probably what you learned from the people you film also. Was there something special that or unique that struck you about this particular story?
Well, you know, I first had the realization that there's a lot more to the story of war than we often think about. Clear back in 1988 when I did that story about the civilians on Wake Island, and I realized that war affects us in ways that we don't even comprehend. My stepfather was one of those civilians that helped the Marines move guns, dig revetments for airplanes. He was a construction worker, but he was still touched by war, and he became a prisoner of war when the Wake Island was finally lost to the Japanese. And what I realized in the connection in making this film is that everybody who is connected to a veteran is a prisoner of war in a way. And the wives that we interviewed have been the support system for our veterans, but they don't often get credit or recognition for that. And it became so apparent in listening to, a dozen interviews over the course of the making of this film that these women are speaking for tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of other wives who have been touched by war.
Since we did the filming, we learned that Precious Goodson actually brought it to our attention. There are 5.5 million military caregivers in our nation right now, over 5.5 million.
Well, see, there you go. I didn't even have my numbers right because it's just not something we talk about or examine in our society. And it's a bigger problem than even I realized in terms of a problem in the sense that we don't talk about it, and a lot of these support givers are sometimes forgotten about.
Yes, and they go way beyond wives. There are parents who are caring for their sons and daughters who've been affected by war. There are children caring for their parents. There are friends and, you know, other relatives that are part of this community of caregivers. It is a greater part of our society than most people realize.
Right. And what I enjoy about this film is that the approach to the film goes back to those initial three words: authenticity and honesty. And sometimes on documentary production, depending on the scope of the film, you know, you're instructed to kind of ignore the blemishes. Don't show the stuff in the corner. You can maintain the truth right here within the camera frame, but let's not look at what's in the background. And this isn't that kind of film. This is a film in which we get to see what's in the corner, and what's in the corner isn't always a visual thing. It's often an emotional thing. And because of Ken and Betty's approach to the film, yours and Ken's, it's that honest, authentic approach where the people we interviewed trusted you, and so they were able to share their emotions in a way that we don't get to see otherwise.
One of the things I appreciate most about your work, Bill, is that the people trust you too. They sense your empathy, and they're not threatened by this extra person in the room. And so we really appreciate that about you.
Well, I try to be a fly on the wall. That's my goal is to capture real life, real slices of life, to give an honest picture of the people we interview. And the only way I can do that is if I just blend into the background as much as possible. And that's a key goal of most documentarians, is to capture life as if we weren't watching. And that I really kind of enjoy that. It's kind of like going on an expedition for me. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what to expect when you get there. You kind of adapt on the fly, and you have a surprise in the end. And that's kind of what keeps me going.
Great. Well, it's very much an honor to have you on the team. And so we thank you for your thoughts and your insight today. And
Okay, well, thank you, Betty and Ken. And I'm really proud to be associated with this film. I can't wait to see the finished product. I think you're doing a marvelous job at helping people heal in ways that they haven't had the opportunity.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Bill Krumm and learned more about what it takes to make a documentary film and what motivates people like Bill to do this kind of work. And thank you for all the support you've given to I Married the War.